I've got no way of knowing what this world is coming to as I walk down the road. Don't know what I'm gonna do, and I've been contemplating everything that's been going wrong. Hand is gun on my temple, everything is going wrong. Well, I did my time and I'm still paying the price for knocking off the store as a kid. And I can't get a job and I'm a bum for show. I often take not more than I give. And I drink too much whiskey and I smoke too much weed, just drowning in my pity and film. Now I'm walking alone down this lonely road. Ain't no sense in trying to save myself, 'cause it's a lonely road. And it's a lonely road. Well, I know that things ain't easy, they never really are. Keep on struggling against the grain, never getting very far. All the drugs and the drinking, all the parties every night. Just wanna dope it up and have a drink and I'll be alright. But when I wake up from this nightmare, I know I'll be ashamed. I know I'm gonna die if I keep playing this thing again, 'cause it's a lonely road. And it's a lonely road. Well, it's been about 6 years since I got out the joint. Now my life is taking quite a big turn. I've got one hot little mama and 2 little angels gonna work my fingers to the blood and bone. And we're gonna keep on rocking to that soulful beat. Ain't nothing gonna bring us down. I'm gonna put it on the wood, I'm gonna yell it out. Ain't nobody gonna tell me what it's all about. Ain't such a lonely road. Ain't such a lonely road. Ain't such a lonely road.
I had heard about it and seen other people get into it, but I wasn't even thinking about it, even though I needed money and stuff like this. But my wife, she was in it, and that got me going. She was the one that was trying to train me on my first day. She was telling me, well, you got to ask them if they wanted to buy a street pulse. I was standing over there, and I couldn't even get people to look at me. So I started playing around with words and changed it to donate for street pulse. And she couldn't keep up with me. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
Working with Street Pulse, it's pretty much you're basically on your own. You're not really around a whole lot of people. You don't really have people telling you what to do or how to do it. They leave it up to you on how you're going to sell. Depending on how you sell, depends on your pay.
Donate to Street Pulse. Have a nice day.
I need you, you need me, we need them, they need us. So I'll help you, you help me, we'll help them, they help us. You don't help me and I don't help you and they don't help us. We don't help them. Oh, oh, I need you. Oh, oh, you need me. Oh, oh, I'll help you. Oh, oh, help me.
Interesting night last night. Slept on a hill. sliding down the hill, but thank God for retaining wall.
This coming Saturday, 8:30 in the morning, is the Latino breakfast. Street Pulse is a wonderful media source for the homeless, a voice for the homeless. There's a lot of good information in there about the homeless, about how the successes and the tribulations of what goes on in the street on a daily basis. The city of Madison has never had a homeless issue or a homeless problem, according to Madison. You know, I mean, people aren't aware that there's such a large population of homeless. The other thing is the laundry program, Project Bubbles. Again, I chuckle. How Madison compares to other parts of the country as far as the whole picture goes, I don't think there's a whole lot of difference. Obviously, in Los Angeles, their situation is just as grave as the situation can be here. It's just on a grander scale.
Busy morning this morning. I didn't want to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
I think Bob and Angel together are great. I think they work well together. I think just like any other couple, Bob and Angel both have their individual gifts and their individual weaknesses, and I think that they understand each other quite well. They are a couple who knew what they were getting into when they got married and are still willing to make that commitment to one another, and it's really good to see. If I didn't know who they were and you came up to me and you said, well, we've got a man, I think he's in his 50s, and we've got a girl in her early 20s, and they both have a bit of a sketchy background and they're going to get married, I don't think I would have that great of a reaction to it. But that wasn't the first thing that I heard about them. If you had given me a fact sheet of who Bob was, I might be a little apprehensive, but that's not how I met him. Regardless of what you've done and what your history is, you are going to be forgiven and accepted and loved and able to move forward. So in that respect, his label is no different than anyone else's here, which is sinner.
Great.
Okay. Prayer requests.
Those that don't have an apartment, pray for them to get an apartment soon before the snow hits.
The alcoholics and addicts, that hopefully they can straighten out their life instead of making problems for everybody else. Hopefully they'll get their head back on their shoulders instead out of the other end. And I'm talking from experience. I used to be that way myself.
Lord, send your spirit in this place. Lord, listen to your children praying. Send us love, send us power, send us grace. Lord, listen to your children praying. Lord, send your spirit in this place. Lord, listen to your children praying. Send us love, send us power, send us grace.
I actually fell into selling street pulses. I was fortunate enough to do that. You see people shaking cans on State Street, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do something productive, and this is the perfect vehicle, because not only is it economically benefiting me, I also feel like that I'm an activist. It brings awareness to people, and all of a sudden the thing that they step over every morning isn't a thing anymore. Street Pulse puts a face to it. The thing that they walk around is no longer a thing, it's a person.
Okay, something came up at the vendor meeting that I didn't really know how to respond to, so I thought I would talk about here. Well, I got involved 3 years ago now when I came to Madison, came as a student, originally to study agriculture. Well, nonprofits can make a profit. It's just you don't distribute the money. I come from a pretty suburban city, never saw a homeless person in my life. They're so excluded from the rest of society because of our misconceptions and stereotypes and just stupid ideas that we have about homeless people. They already have nothing, and then they can't depend on society or social networks. So they really, develop these really cool connections with each other, and I've met some of the most interesting people ever.
Well, I realize that my purpose on earth is to write and to share ideas. I'm living with people that are on they've lost hope, a lot of these people. They're desperate. And if I can help them out in any way, sometimes just to find them access to food or a place to stay. And just a simple comfort of a cigarette sometimes is all they're looking for. Alcohol I won't help them with. Drugs I won't help them with. Tobacco's sort of maybe bad enough, but it's just a small comfort for them. There are other names for it, but around here it's called sniping. I begin, weather permitting, around 3:30 in the morning. The restaurants have been closed and pre-cleaned. Their sated and saturated patrons long gone to dreamy beds with possibly dreamier partners. For an hour or two, your city sidewalks and avenues are mine to wander at will in search of the golden flecks paving every street of any town USA. As you toss more aside, so shall you more purchase, and I shall gather all for redistribution, either freely or for a price. What say you of these pearls scattered in error and ignorance, trod past and upon by unseeing, unknowing herds? They have been plucked from urban filth, cleansed anew, restrung, and after the sun has again risen, I, alone, smile at and reflect upon their opalescent beauty and true worth.
Your love give me such a thrill, but your love don't pay my bills. I need some money, yes, yes. What I want, I need some money, yes, yes, yes. Here in Madison, it's like hard to find work for a man with my education. So I started working with street parts, and I've been with street parts like going on 6 years now. Street parts today, man? Have a great day. I'm with a program, the Age Advantage program. You have to be 55 or older, and I work at the Goodman Community Center. I started off there at Goodman as a custodian. I did custodian for 2 years, and then I got positioned up to work in the kitchen. I'm an artist. I like to draw cars. I know that I have my classic car books. I like muscle cars, classic car books. I draw. I have drawings at work. I want to sell my art. I'm living in the shelter. I stay at 116 West Washington, which is Grace Church. I've been there off and on from '04 to today. Well, the truth of the matter is, I'm a drinker, and I have feelings myself, and I don't see my kids like I would like. I'm stressed out at most of the time. I know myself I have a problem. I've been through treatment before. I know what it takes to quit, but I haven't just really put my finger on quitting. But today I'm putting my finger on quitting.
Lonnie's a really good person. He has a real work ethic. But the slavery of addiction is a very cruel mistress, and it doesn't let go with any ease. I see him out there. If he could just take his ethic he has to work and to hustle and direct that toward sobriety, the discovery of who he is and what he really wants, then he can make a breakthrough. If he follows the course that he's done in the history that we have together, nothing will change.
We were out there selling, Angel and I, doing pretty good. All of a sudden, here's Brad down by Triangle Market. Tom Brown walks right past us and starts selling up there. We had 3 or 4 people from both directions. Oh, I've got one from them. Just wiped us right off the board. I was a little bit upset, so I just walked right on over, and we had a little bit of a confrontation right there in front of Mad Dog, sorry to say.
Robert and Angel have been probably one of the best success stories I can think of. They started writing for us, which is really cool. They're married now. I hope the best for them because they deserve it. You know, that's the thing about things on the streets. You know, you like can't predict anything.
To take people that are chronically homeless and figure out a way to get them not just on a path toward housing security and towards stability in their lives, but actually to a place where we can feel very confident that it will be successful is a very difficult and long path. People that have somebody they can care about and somebody they want to take care of is a wonderful incentive to try to move forward. It's a lot stronger incentive than just yourself. How's it going? Oh my gosh! Hi, sweet girl! In my day job, I help people find jobs, and the people that are hard to find jobs are the people that don't have soft skills, the work ethic to understand that, you know, they can't just not show up at work the next day just because they don't feel like it. That would never be a problem with Rob. Yeah. That's awesome. That's super cool. They have all the things they need to get there. It's more a matter of us as a society helping to basically light that path.
Our mission really began with a shelter, but it easily, early on, led us to realize that the shelter is not a permanent solution to the homeless problem. In fact, it's really, in some sense, not a satisfactory answer to the homeless problem. What we do is we have a big component of our operations and services are long-term transitional and permanent housing. We have 22 properties, apartment buildings, that are basically scattered throughout Madison. Despite the reputation we have, despite how we operate our programs, despite the fact that persons with serious mental illness are less violent than college students that are alcoholics. Okay, despite all of those things, when you walk into a neighborhood, your neighborhood, my neighborhood, okay, it's, we don't want you here.
After being around now for a couple years and being around a lot of the different individuals, I've kind of realized, I guess in my own mind, I think that this is how it is that a lot of these guys are homeless by choice. I mean, some people do have something that happens that forces them to be homeless, or that a situation where they don't have a support net. But I think a lot of people, it's a series of bad choices they've made, or mistakes that they've done that have brought them to where they're at. There's a whole mix of people, and it's hard to say exactly who it is that can be saved and brought back off the streets and to get back into the normal civilization, and which one of them want to be lost.
I was born in Missouri. After I was born in Missouri, I moved to Illinois. I don't remember much about the move there, but because I was real little yet.
Born in Lisbon, Wisconsin. I was raised in Boston. Spent most of my life there on a farm.
I was actually born 3 months premature. I was born 1 pound 14 ounces.
I was a loner. Most of the time I was out there playing with the animals, running around the fields.
I was considered a slow learner. It was rough growing up, being a year behind like that.
Because of the moving around, I was held back 3 grades. And when I turned 16, I just started 8th grade again. I got fed up with it, I walked out, I quit.
My grades weren't that great. There were C's, D's, and F's, most of them. When I got to Wisconsin, I had more help from the teachers than what I did in Missouri.
2 weeks before we Finished the GED, we moved to Ohio. And that's where I got into the drugs heavier.
My grades went from C's, D's, and F's all the way up to A's, B's, and an occasional C.
From there, I jumped all the way to North Dakota. I was up there in the oil patch a little bit, and then in '84, drugs, alcohol, stupidity, and mental problems put me in Montana State Prison.
I had graduated high school at the age of 19. I should have graduated at 18, but like I said, was being held back a year. It put me a year behind. I had gotten into alcohol problems at the age of 21, and I went into detox 4 times. After that, my mom had kicked me out, and that's when I became homeless.
Times are rough, the times have all gone wrong. When times are bad, you'll be glad to know.
The big factor I've got right now is my age, and I've got a 26-year blank spot. That's one reason I need to go back to school, relearn a trade. So I'm starting off from scratch. I just appeared out of nowhere December 2nd last year.
Yes, I love you, Lord. You are my rock and my salvation. And I will wait patiently and be set free. You are everything to me. Everything to me.
One day I was sitting over there just chilling out and getting my head back together, and here comes little Miss Chatterbox, comes over there and sits down, and she just started talking a little bit, and the more we sat there, the more she talked. She just sped up.
Because he looked depressed, so I thought I'd talk to him.
Okay. Yeah. We sat there and talked about
Anything and everything.
it's
Eventually, we were running around town together. It felt good, it felt right. And just someone I could talk to.
But I was just out to Social Security. The first time I saw her was down in the basement of the Capitol down there. And everybody was telling me how she was a lesbian because she was wearing a shirt and tie, suit and tie, basically, without the jacket on. You know, that's the way she likes to dress. It made me laugh. I told her about it, and she cracked up too.
I got more detail to go into than that.
Just glad it's not real. If I had the money, what would I do? First thing, get an apartment and get her off the streets. She shouldn't be out here. That's what I live for now. I know I'd be doing a lot of volunteer work if I could, because I want to help the people around me instead of hurting them. I did too much of that in my past.
I'm a airborne medic. I joined in 1975. I was in for a little over a year, and then I had a back injury, and that's basically why I'm in this chair today.
Well, I went in when I was just turned 17. The judge told me I had 2 choices. I could do a year and a half in jail, or I could join the military. So I joined the military in Milwaukee. And I went right straight from there. I went to Aschaffenburg, Germany. While I was over there, I got my neck broken, so I was only there for a little over a year.
We do both get monthly checks from the
Right,
Veterans
yeah.
Disability.
All
We
it-
don't make that much for a bank account.
No.
It's all pretty much spent.
It's enough to get us rent for the month and take care of groceries and etc. You know, in the 15 years we've been together, it's been maybe max we've spent about 2.5 years on and off in a shelter, 2 or 3 months at a time.
We've been up and down, up and down. You just have to keep getting back up when you're down.
We've had it rough, but we love each other. You make it, you know, you make it work. It's a one day at a time type thing. I mean, there's going to be days where it's going to be a load of crap, but you got to deal with that too. As long as you handle it together with reasonable decorum, it's going to be fine. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now
They're office workers.
Yeah.
They're state workers.
Ours are that way too.
And so, you know, and this is usually when they get paid.
Yeah.
And it's really hard. Thank you.
Turn them right
You're
side up,
such a
Angel.
sweetheart.
Hold them that way.
I got engrossed in the conversation.
I like biking back to the bridge at night when we're done with our day, because then I don't have to do anything else for the rest of the night. I don't want kids. I am bipolar, and I don't think if I can't handle myself, I don't think I really want to have kids and try and handle them, because I'm more afraid I'll get out of more control or something worse could happen. Now, back at our spot, I have 4 stuffed animals that I call my children, because I don't want children in real life, so I use them as children in my own mind. I have Lucy. She is a tiger, white and black tiger, stuffed animal. I have Clyde, who is a stuffed dog, and I named him after Robert, because that's his middle name. I keep calling my husband a dog all the time, that's why I did it.
I like biking both ways. On the way in, I'm also thinking about the day ahead, what needs to be done. It's a quiet time, peaceful time. Plus, it's getting me wound up for the day. Going back to the bridge, then I'm thinking about everything that happened during the day. If I got my schedule done, great. We're done for the day. Get out there and I can kick back and relax.
I told him a little bit about my past, what I was like, and then I asked him, okay, now that I had told you what I was like, what are you like? And for me, some of what he says brings back some of my memories. They're different, obviously, but with him and his end game, I know what he's talking about. It brings back memories of me wanting to commit suicide all the time, because I'm used to being drunk.
My story, you can call it a story or hell, whatever you want to call it, was I've been running for many years for myself, using alcohol and drugs as a self-medication, trying to cover it up so I'd fit in. Problem is, it didn't work. I'd been working like crazy up here in the oil patch, running water trucks, drinking water out to the rigs, and I'd finally got a day off, and that was the worst day of my life, because I was starting out drinking and drugging, 8 o'clock that morning. About 4 o'clock that night, everything went black. I don't remember none of it until the next day when I was woke up in county jail up in Sidney, Montana. I don't know if it was the drugs or the alcohol or mental problems or a combination of everything included. I spent the next 26 years in prison. The biggest thing is, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I don't know why. It will not happen again. my end game, if it ever come down to that. If the cops didn't help me, I'd kill myself first, before I hurt anybody else.
I was classified as institutionalized. I'm programmed to be a prisoner. And that's what I'm fighting. In there, you always got somebody come up and tell you what to do, when to do it, how to do it, where, you know. And out here, there's nobody like that. And I've got to figure it all out for myself.
And there's a lot of times I'm still thinking of going back to prison. I wasn't planning on somebody like this stepping into my life. She's the one that's keeping me going now.
Worst case scenario is if I lost her. She's the best thing that God ever put in my life. And as far as I'm kind of concerned, I'll stay with her for the rest of my life.
First time we had an officer come up here, and he looked at the place, talking about, it looked like an encampment.
What'd you put in here, a load of bricks?
He didn't know whose land it was on or anything else, so nothing happened. But Thursday, we got a visit from a Wisconsin State Trooper. He come down here. He gave us till Tuesday to get out of here.
We did some investigating yesterday and we found, well, I don't know if I want to call it another nice place, but it's decent enough where it feels safe anyway. And it's about, how far down the tracks did we say that thing was?
Another mile.
About another mile down the tracks.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Well, we were out looking, Angel and I, just trying to, because we knew about this wooded area over here, we didn't know what it was. We decided to walk through and found a couple good spots that we thought were good, and it's got a good feel to it, you know. So we'll build as best we can, recycling garbage and stuff like that to insulate, and use our tarps around the outside for walls, for a roof, you know, make it as best we can to last the winter if we've got to.
Yeah. Set them in and throw them. Okay.
Go get it, Rich. You're not hitting me, so son.
I seen Lonnie yesterday. I haven't seen him too drunk recently, you know, for the different times that I've seen him. You know, he's constantly hitting me up for money, you know. And I give him twos and fews as he needed. He's a good guy, and he pays back, you know. I think he's made some changes. You know, he's progressed. If he's slowed down from a strong liquor to beer, that's progress, you know, and I'll give it to him for his efforts. You know, it's a lot of people just don't do that.
And I said, well, how much money you spending? She said, well, I ain't got no money, you do. You know, I said, no, I'm not spending money on liquor, man. I had to quit. Yeah, right.
You know, every time I see her, you know what she remind me of? You remember that song? Crazy little mama come knocking, knocking at my front door.
You like them old spiritual songs, don't you?
Man, see, it's on that.
You first got to get a job, man. When I come out of prison in 2009, go put it in job application. They telling me if you haven't worked in the last 2 years, we won't even accept your applications. I said, well, how am I supposed to get a job if you're not going to give me an opportunity? Right? Yeah. You know. Yeah, you don't remember this part?
Man, I'm thirsty. I don't know about y'all.
Huh?
It is now.
Yeah, there you go. Lonnie's the man to get.
Yeah.
Chicago, you have to drink in it. I don't know. Well, we drank down the beach.
I never spent a whole lot of time in Chicago.
Oh, the lake.
You can drink on the beach in Chicago, on the lake?
You can drink on the beach?
Is that right?
Yeah.
No,
you still got
not
to
in
hide
Milwaukee.
it in so many ways, yeah.
Not in Milwaukee.
Yeah, you still got to hide it.
And don't let them find some empty containers around you, eh?
You know. The beer tastes good, man. I haven't had a good beer in a long time. My old lady find out I'm drinking, I'm in trouble, though.
I'm doing well. I progressed in getting me a room. I'm not in the shelter, but I still feel homeless. Because where I stay at, it's like, I mean, you have your room, but then again, the system, you can't let the system know everything.
Lonnie used to drink liters of vodka, not vodka, Old Thompson a day. Every time you saw Lonnie.
Pints.
No,
pints.
Liters. You have to spine liters.
Well, with the guys.
Wait a minute, this is my talking now.
With the guys.
Anyway, I'm talking now. They would have liters a day. No, you would have it. Not with the guys. The guys would get it from you. You know, he would buy liters. But now, you know, I see him with a beer every now and then.
Eugene.
So I would think he's, you know, I would say he's reforming to an extent.
When he would drink, Eugene was only talking about the days.
Yeah.
No, you still got to think about the night. No, serious. The nights were another thing, right, Eugene?
Yeah.
Because he gets together in the daytime, that's one thing. But then at night, oh, God. And
a second shift.
yes, correct. It's not reforming per se, but it took him a long time to get to that point. And it's going to take him a while to get back to where he was. But he's chipping away.
Yeah.
That's what counts. Chipping away. Sometimes, you know, you fall down. And somebody, you don't want a hand down, you want a hand up.
I sit up here, I drank me a beer. I might lay here, buy me a half pint, buy me a 6-pack, split it down with them, I'm going home. What did I tell you?
Don't forget, don't
No,
forget me,
no, I don't drink no hard stuff. No.
What about you?
Damn.
Old Lonnie is back already.
Surround sound, eh?
Lord, I'm your child. Won't you lead me? Lord, I'm your child. Won't you lead me? Lord, if you lead me, I'll be able to stand.
How are you doing? Getting older, huh?
Yeah, that wind's got a bite to it.
This is my boss here.
Uh-oh.
This is Mr. Huffar, and this is Angel, his wife.
How's it going?
Nice to meet you. Yeah, I want to just tell you briefly right now that the crew is outside. It did not come into the building.
Yeah.
At this point. Okay.
Do you understand our hesitation?
Yeah, I do.
Because our responsibility is to help you find work, not to get sidetracked by other things that may be important to you. So much attention is often focused on the state and what the state does.
Yeah.
We don't want anybody to tell us that we're not doing our job, and we're more concerned about making movies. Trying to do it right, though.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I think this is all moving forward, okay? It's like an office assistant, something of that nature, office.
Oh, great.
Yeah. It's going to be around $12 an hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. How much time do you need to get your things lined up right now? To be ready to work?
I'm ready to work right now.
If you were to get this job, where would that leave me? Because that would leave me on the street. No protection from anybody.
No, you'd be okay during the day.
No, I
You'd
don't
be at the
know.
library.
Like I'm going to sit there all freaking day long.
No, listen, just like when you were staying there under the bridge when I was uptown selling papers.
Yeah, I was fine there.
Don't know what I'm gonna do quietly. It's gonna be a long winter. Gotta put my rags on tight. 'Cause it's cold out there, deep in the dead of night. There's so much now that I know. I got lost in my life and I'm cold, but I'm learning the tricks of life's games. And when I close my eyes, I can imagine my goal. There's so much now that I know. I got lost in my life and I'm cold, but I'm learning the tricks of life's games. And when I close my eyes, I can imagine my goal. Yeah, when I close my eyes, I can imagine my goal.
With that, we're going to do birthdays. So if you had a birthday in November, then come into the center. Roman, Tom, Angel, Chloe, Michelle.
May your birthday be bright, full of cheer and delight. Go.
May your birthday be bright, full of cheer and delight.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Blessings, hear our wishes galore, that you have many more. Happy birthday,
happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
$1.19 for both of them. Went from the bridge out to the clump of woods and then found out it was a park. And We had been coming over here for showers once in a while, and also they'd let us crash out up on the floor in the living room once or twice a week. We explained the situation to him, and he come up with the idea. He talked it over with his wife, girlfriend, whatever you want to call her, fiance, that we could live down here for $25 a week, but we couldn't let anybody else know about it.
Living here right now is, well, for me it seems a little rough. Sometimes we get long centipedes crawling on the walls, and I don't like them because they show up on this wall here, and I don't like them that close to the bed. But for me it's better than sleeping on the floor. I don't know how he can do that, but the food we bring in from the food pantries, which helps them out a lot. Of course, that's all free anyway. But, I mean, I don't really like being here, technically, but at least it's better than being out on the street.
The gentleman that felt nice enough to rent us this place, him and his wife are both on paper, or parole or probation, something like that.
He's on probation.
So, if their parole officers would find out they've got people living here, they would get possibly sent back to prison.
In jail.
And their young son
Would be taken away.
would be taken away and put in foster care.
I never really consider housing anything permanent. I don't consider it temporary either. It's just however long we've got. I've been homeless for a year, so from my experience, moving from one place to the next is not home no matter which way I look at it. Even this is not home. It's just another shelter.
Yeah, this place is.
That's how I look at it. If we had an apartment of our own and we stayed there more than just a year, then I'd actually call that home.
I go through a lot during the day, you know. It's harder being homeless than it is working. And I go out and I look for jobs, I look for help to get jobs. I can't get one. That address that says homelessness just knocks you out of a lot of jobs.
Tonight, the longest night of the year, we are having a vigil and memorial service for people in our community who have died. This is our 4th year. Each year the event gets bigger, but it's to remind our community that every day, every week, there are members of our community who die without a home, and too often, most often, their lives, their passing goes unnoticed. It's invisible. There's no memorial service, there's no obituary, and it's our firm belief that every life deserves to be celebrated, to be recognized, acknowledged, and to be mourned. And it's also an opportunity for people in our community who are homeless, who have lost friends and family, to lift up their voices as well and to remember them and to give them an opportunity in the larger community to grieve and to recognize their loss.
When I first arrived here, I was still real green, as you put it, running real heavy on prison mentality. And I was real scared, because prison is all I know. And I'd only been out a couple days. I'd been coming over here to the Capitol downstairs in the basement. We could spend the time down there during the day and stay warm. I was still trying to figure out and make contacts, and I'd finally made a phone call to MUMS, Madison Urban Ministries. Matter of fact, I walked out the end of the door over here, and I walked out and I was totally lost, because there was nothing there that I knew. And I went into a total meltdown, is the easiest way to put it. Now I've got support. Now I've got people that will help me, that can help me.
But that anger, especially from me, is an expression of love all the same. It's just exactly what...
Last 2 months, I've been busy, still staying at our friend's house, trying to find an apartment. Or right now, my husband's trying to push for a house, which, in my opinion, I don't see it happening anytime soon. And during the week, I pretty much continue to do the same thing. Or, you know, running my husband his lunch, running him a thermos full of coffee. With him not being by my side like I'm used to, I pretty much lose my support when I need it. And if I don't have it when I need it, usually I start having problems. I actually feel that I have trouble selling the papers. Like, my voice isn't loud enough, my confidence isn't high enough. I feel real low. With the cold weather, it makes it a lot harder for me to stand there for so many hours a day trying to sell papers. Hopefully, the future will look a lot better than what it does now.
I've been back in Madison about 3-4 days now, and I've been averaging maybe $20 a day. I could stand out there all day long. I've been staying in the shelter here for a few nights so I could get out and sell the newspapers to get up my rent money. I've been able to actually secure a room in a boarding house. And I have a small room with a bathroom down the hall. And it's a little bit of progress. And I'd like to see myself with an apartment and some source of steadier income than I have now. A lot of people don't have money to donate because times are so tough. It's just not there.
We went to Janesville for 3 months, but we had to keep coming back here to get our checks, and I tried to put it on our credit card so that we didn't have to keep running back, because it costs like $200 every time we come back from Janesville. That takes a big chunk out of our money. Kathy's in the hospital right now, so that's why you don't see her. And now we're back at the shelters again till Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever we can talk to our vet rep so that we can find out where our checks went to. All of a sudden, the weather changed, and so I don't want to bring her out in this weather because she gets sick enough as it is. But I have no choice at the moment because there's no place else to go. This is just a lump in the road, but the lump keeps getting bigger at the moment. But it will be better.
Working with the various people I've worked through in Lonnie's position, I've seen a lot of the alcohol usage and overusage, and the intentions are good. Always the intentions are good. And there's probably more days that are good days than bad days, but I'm not surprised to see when people lapse. It doesn't really surprise me. When he's here, he's great, and most of the time he is here. I would say his attendance has been better since about probably August, September. And at that point, he and I had a meeting, and we talked about, you know, he's a valued employee. I value him here. I don't want to fire him, but that his sporadic absences were really becoming a problem because I need him here to do his job. I don't want to be pessimistic, and I don't want to come across like I don't believe in him or in other people in similar situations. I don't think people can do like an overnight sea change. I think a sea change is really just composed of one day at a time. you know, if he has a positive day and then has another positive day and another positive day, to me, I guess that would culminate in a sea change, but we don't know it's a sea change until it's accomplished. In 6 months, I hope he's still working for me, and I think he probably will be. You know, that's his work life. His personal life, I don't know. I hope he stays clean and safe, warm, that kind of thing. But I can't. I have no crystal ball.
It was my New Year revolution. December 31st was my last drink. I've been dreaming and dreaming and dreaming for years. You know, maybe to have a beautiful wife again, my family closer to me. I have big dreams, and I've been dreaming. And I realized I just came to a point where, Lonnie, you keep dreaming. Let's get a dream come true. I moved from where I was at. My drinking got me to the point where I couldn't be there anymore. And so I had to move around. So I ended up in the shelter. I think I did about a month in the shelter. Me and Nate, we've been drinking buddies for years, but he's no longer drinking. And he's got his life together, and I turned to him, and he's helping me today.
My mom had a toast. I feed the mice, the poor little things. I even give a dog a steak. I let the bed bugs bite and the cockroaches crawl. I give every living ass a break. Now, I consider the time of year it is, and we had just had a memorial for homeless people who have died out there on the street. And I didn't want Lonnie to become one of those numbers. You know, I said, sure, come on in. He maintains to be respectful and does what he needs to do. He's here. Lonnie, to be totally honest with you, Lonnie, you know, I ain't gonna hold no punches on you, man. I don't see no good, man. I really don't. You know, and I would hate to have to see you die out there, man. You know, we was out there together doing a bunch of that madness. And you know, we're the same age. We 57 years old, and we ain't got too much out here, man. You know, you got a good heart. You mean well. You know, even though the alcohol tells you something different. But we getting too old for this.
This is the Jeff 1 building. It's the main hub for all the other job service offices in the state of Wisconsin. Everything that comes out of here is directed to the outlying people, let them know what to do.
We're really happy to have him on board. He's doing great. Lots of learning. Each week it seems like we're able to give him another assignment or a new cool thing to learn, and he's just running with everything we give him. So it's a long road for permanent employment. Robert and Angel, of course, still homeless. I've been working with them for months, actually, trying to find them housing. I have other staff here who have also, on their own time, been trying to help as well, just because they know about that situation. But it's incredibly challenging. It just is a perfect example of why we need to do more. I mean, here we have a married couple who blow away all the stereotypes about wanting to be homeless or about it's their fault or anything like that. I mean, you can't apply those here. They want housing. They are capable, they are well-spoken, they're articulate, they have skills, they can take care of themselves, they understand what it takes, and they want housing. And they're willing to work for it. You know, Robert's got a job now, Angel is out there vending, and we can't find them housing anywhere. And the resources he has at his disposal. I mean, he has me, who knows the whole system, and has dozens of contacts. He has a computer at his disposal. He's got a telephone at his disposal. He's got a job, and he's got references. He has people that will vouch for him. Imagine what it would be like for people that don't have all those things, much less any of those things. And I mean, most homeless don't have any of those things.
Stairs to the parking areas?
The real challenge, I mean, there are many challenges, but the real challenge is that they're a couple. There is not a lot of supportive, subsidized housing for people that are basically a man and a woman that are a couple. If they were a family, it would be easier. If they were single individuals, it would be somewhat easier. There just is not a lot of subsidized housing available for a man and woman that are simply a couple. And it's in part, I think, the way our society views couples, particularly two adults that supposedly should be able to work, should be able to find employment, should be able to find housing. Unfortunately and sadly, that's not the reality. Yet those that set priorities, and there are a number of folks that set these priorities, set priorities to emphasize children and to emphasize single adult individuals. You found, in essence, a hole in the system, and it is a hole in the system. Couples that are adults and don't suffer from disabilities or significant disabilities have a much harder time getting housing.
Hi, my name is Frederick Fisher. I drove up here from Evansville. I play downtown on State Street as a busker, a street musician. I've been doing that for 13 years now. I'm 30 years old. Brought my wife and 2 kids down here. All my songs that I write are basically about my life. I've been through a lot of stuff lately in the last few years, so it kind of made me want to write some music, and just want to share that with you guys tonight.
Never thought I'd realize that it was just enough to have you here by my side, living this destitute life. And as the days go by, it gets colder, and I realize that I can't do this alone. I need to hold your hand for the fear of being alone. And I realize it's a complicated life, but we work together hard in the cold and the night. And I realize that the road ahead is far from being easy to navigate to your heart. So if you trust me and look into my eyes, you'll find someone who wants to hold you to the end of time. The end of time. The end of time. We're not going to give up, even though sometimes we just don't eat or do the laundry as it's been building up for a couple weeks. We're gonna make it and raise a family right, watch our son and daughter grow right in front of our eyes, just trying to take it one day at a time. Yeah, just trying to take it one day. You'll stay sane, just take it one day at a time. And I realize it's a complicated life, but we work together hard in the cool and the night, just trying to take it one day at a time. Yeah, I'm just trying to take it one day at a time.
Thanks, guys. You've been great.